Uh, Today, I bring you one exciting topic like how to secure public Azure resources using Azure Private Link. This is a concern like we have a lot of public resources available, like maybe a web app or a blob storage or like application insights, like we have or Key Vault, like all these public services on Azure. We can't integrate with like our VNet or our private virtual network on cloud. So here I am like to help you or like to demonstrate you how we can integrate these resources to a virtual network or a private virtual network on Azure. Okay. So before I get into the session, it's a quick introduction on me. I work as a cloud architect with 15 plus years of industry experience. So I have a deep expertise in digital transformations using cloud, artificial intelligence, RPA at an enterprise grade for large-scale organizations across the globe. I published two books, Master Azure Serverless Computing and Mastering Azure Kubernetes Service. I'm Azure certified as well as TOGAF certified. And here this is the agenda. So we'll start off with discussing the business case because every need comes from a business case, right? So any of the products, any of the services, or anything that we build. So everything boils down from a business case. If there is no business, there is nothing to research, nothing to build, or nothing to have in plate, right? So we'll start with the business case for this. Then we will take an understanding of why we need security in the first place. I know we have been discussing a lot of security stuff right from the beginning of the day, but still I would like to spend 5 to 7 minutes talking about security. It's an important aspect, and why do we need it specifically. Then there is an important concept called as defense in depth in the world of security. So we'll explore a bit and try to map where the private link fits in this defense in depth concept. Then I will get into the Azure private link and explain you like how we can actually secure a web app using Azure private link and how we can access it from our virtual network. And then we'll have an exciting demo. Okay. So let's get started. We have so many things in plate. Okay. So this is the business case. Like definitely, like as an architect or a developer, when we get into our client's place, so like we have these questions. So here actually you can see like it is an hypothetical CIO of an insurance giant, and he has these queries and he has this business case to address, and he has come to us like please help us in solving this. So what are the business cases? He needs to migrate the enterprise applications to Azure. And when I say enterprise applications, they have to be secure, right? My enterprise has to be secure. Any breach, I'm gone, right? So he needs to migrate the enterprise applications to Azure. His main point of concern is security. And definitely when we talk about public cloud, security always comes to our mind, right? Because like at times based on the nature of the business, our customers, so like we need to talk about security a lot and try to address the concern as much as possible. So the CIO wants to understand, or the client CIO wants to understand like how to secure this his like applications that we have moved to Azure. Then the golden requirement he has, I mean, I think every client has nowadays, like he needs to have these applications hosted on Azure as a PaaS based hosting, but all the traffic to that application should flow through a private network. Okay. So it should not be publicly accessible. Like anyone in the internet should not be able to access it. Only those who are in the intranet or in the private network on Azure should be able to use it. Okay. So like unless there is a need to expose it, because at times also like we expose our internet applications so that our suppliers, our vendors of the organization can access it and use it, right? So like but however the main goal here or what he wants to have is like the application should be in a private network, and it should not be exposed out unless it is explicitly said so. Okay. And as I've already told you, all the network traffic should flow through private network on Azure. Okay. So now let's see few more things and why he is worried about security. Because if there is a security breach, we know what happens, right? Data theft happens. Like someone like sitting in some corner of the world like can access your systems, pull out all your data, maybe of a corporate or your personal laptop or your customers data. So anything, like it can access anything and it can pull out all the data. Hacker can do some kind of malicious attacks, like he can do a DDoS, like a denial of service, then your entire enterprise goes down. And this is very bad, right? Your application goes down, and when your applications goes down, there is a loss to the business, there is loss to productivity, and everything like boils down to money. Like end of the day, like you end up in spending, like doing nothing, and and but at the same time you're losing business. So most importantly, legal and compliance, because as an enterprise, whenever like I'm trying to board any customers to my plate, so what is important for me, I need to make sure that they are legally safe, and I also get into an agreement with them, right? We do, right? So whenever we onboard any customers or we build any softwares for our clients, or we try to cater to some of our customers, so we take care of the legal and compliance aspect. If that contract is breached, then they can sue us, right? They can have a case on us, and they can demand for the reputation loss, and or rather even the compliance loss, or whatever losses they have got. They can charge money, and this is a financial loss for the organization. Then we can also have a reputation loss. Like if I can't secure my data, how can I run a big enterprise and cater to a customer, right? So, and this is not something that even a small scale organization faces. I have even also seen big organizations getting into data compliance issues, facing the reputation loss, losing the trust of the customers, and end of the day they lose the customers trust, and like they're saying they lose to their competition. So someone else who is better secured, like tap the customer base and take it away. And overall, whatever I discussed now, it all means that it's a monetary loss. Okay, he loses money on this. Correct. So these are the basically few of the implications that happens when we do not worry about security, or we do not fortify our security. So that is the reason like security is very important. And you can see this Mr. Client CIO, he is pressing on like having the security concerns addressed. And as I've already told you in the previous slide, he is migrating first time to the enterprise applications to the Azure, and definitely he wants to understand what kind of security we get or Azure provides as a whole. Okay. So when we talk about Azure, I know like this is a pretty common concept across the industry when we talk about security. But here I will touch upon on this slide on like what are the important aspects with respect to Azure. Okay, so like I'm not going to get into other AWS or GCP or anything else, but it's this concept applies overall to everyone. And this is the guy, Mr. Enterprise Architect, someone like some poor guy who has gone for the solution and talking to the CIO, and he needs to get this job done, and convince this guy that yeah, like whatever solution we have, it will fit into you, and whatever Azure is providing, so you can trust us. Okay, so what he has to say, let's see. So when we talk about data, so data, when it is kept in Azure, it's highly secured. Like as such, like there are encryptions applied. For example, in SQL Server, let me talk about Azure Patch SQL. The data is already encrypted there, like transparent data encryption is there. So it's highly secured and no one can access it. And also like we have keys. So suppose we are talking about file storage or a blob storage. So all, or even a data lake. So we can't access the data unless we explicitly make it public. Okay, else like what we can do is we can have the access keys, and we can lock or the data access. We can provide the access keys. Whoever has the access keys can access those data, not all. Okay, so on top of the data, then is the application. So we need to secure our application. So there are different ways how we can secure my application. Okay, so like maybe like let's talk about a web app. So I'm hosting my application on the web app. To secure my web app, what I can do, I can enable like single sign-on and only allow the authenticated users. So I need to take care of all those things when I'm talking about the application layer or the data inside the application. Then comes the next thing, that is the compute layer. So compute layer is nothing. It is that layer which helps in computing my data. Suppose I have some data, right? or like I need to process some data. And all applications, normally what does the application does, it computes some data, right? It maybe like for example, a customer is requesting some page. I need to tap in those that request, understand the request, and then I need to compute it and provide the output or the result to the customer or the person who is requesting the page. Correct. So I'm doing some kind of computations. So in Azure, we have something called as confidential computes. So like it is available with some VMs queues that we can use, or and we can do the computation, or else like there are different ways to fortify the computation so that when the data is in compute, so like it is secured, okay, or your entire environment is secured. Then is the network. So this is also important, right? So we have our VNets, like normally we have our virtual networks, right? Or we keep our inside the virtual networks we have this subnets. So like we keep our applications inside the subnets. So on top of the subnets we apply the network security group to control the firewalls and like the inflow and the outgoing traffic. Correct. So all these things we can do to secure our network. We can have a VNet, we can have a subnet, we can apply NSGs to the subnets. So we can do a lot of things out here to make sure that our data is secured. Then comes the perimeter. So when I talk about the perimeter, it's a very interesting concept. That is your Azure boundary. Definitely all your data, whatever I spoke about, this data, application, compute, network, everything is in like the boundary of Azure, right? The Azure will have its own boundary. Okay, so it will have its own data center, like its data center is has a network boundary. So it is all wired through its own network. It has an underlying network infrastructure on which all the Azure resources are running. Correct. So that means anything beyond your Azure infrastructure, networking infrastructure, is the perimeter, that is to the external world, from where the limits of Azure end, the limits of Azure network ends. Okay, so we also need to secure this. Why? Because like we can have a DDoS attack, and like someone can do a DDoS attack and get into our network and can do an havoc, right? But Microsoft makes sure that this layer is very well fortified, and no one will be able to penetrate and do any kind of anything that is not intended to be done. So, or any security related issues, or anything that any hacking or anything, so that can happen. So it is highly secured. What I mean to say is like Azure network is very robust, and it's very difficult to hack, or even next to impossible. I know, like we are doing a security sessions today. There will be a lot of experts. There might be some someone who can challenge me here, but trust me, like Azure has a very fortified network, and it's highly secured. Okay, so like this perimeter thing is addressed because our Azure network is secured, and Azure has secured its boundary or its network boundaries so that no external users can access it. And definitely when it comes to the access of our applications or anything on access, so we have identity and access. No one can as such come and access your application. Suppose you are hosting your application on a web app, and you have enabled Azure Active Directory. It is integrated with Azure Active Directory, so no one will be able to log in unless they know your credentials, right? We also have multi-factor authentication, and so many authentication and so many types of role-based security and all available. So it's very difficult to allow like unauthenticated users come in and doing an havoc. Also, like both the authentications and authorizations are taken care of by having both role-based access and all those things. So then comes the physical security, where it is the security of our data center. So no one will be able to enter the data center by default. So it's the Microsoft data center where it is kept it. Okay, so there's a very tight security. Only those who are authorized to access the data center, they will be able to get into it. If Microsoft has not authorized anyone to get into the physical or a physical data center or somewhere like where its data centers are, then you can't get into it. So that is how, in a nutshell, we can wrap up, or we can say that our application running inside Azure or any data kept in the Azure is secured. So it has, if anyone wants to breach a security, it has just go through so many layers, or like it needs to break so many things in depth to get into a data application. Okay, so that's what we see. And today, now, like just after in the next deck, what I'm going to show you is on the network area. Okay, so like when we say like private link, so what exactly a private link is? So like Azure private link service or private link endpoints is something like it makes sure that all our traffic, whichever is going to hit our public services, has to go through our private virtual network. Okay, that means this layer we are creating a VNet, and all our traffic should go through that network, and it should reach our web app. Okay, and outbound also you can there are different ways to control the outbound. We can do a delegated we can actually delegate our subnets to a web app, and we can integrate it, but we are not taking up the delegated subnets, those concepts out here, to have a greater control. So we'll stick to the private link thing. Okay, so now let's see what it is. Okay, so I've already told you like what a private link at a very high level. So, and the use case is also pretty much very simple or plain. So like whenever we create any web app, so by default it's a public resource and anyone can access it. I'll also show you in the demo. I'll spin up a web app. I'll try to access that web app, and I will show you that I can easily access that web app. There is no boundary to it. I can simply click on it, and I will get the page opening running, and I can see that. So from the internet, anyone can access the web app. So how we can make sure that only those authorized users who are part of this virtual network can use it, not everyone from the internet? The answer is this private link. So with the private link, what will happen is only those who are inside this private network or the virtual network that will be creating, so like only those users will be able to access the web app. That means it is blocking the internet access. So suppose, for example, in this web app, so like I have enabled this private link. So what will happen is, so anyone who is accessing this virtual machine, and this virtual machine is inside this VNet, inside this virtual network, so I can access this virtual machine, and from here I can actually access this web app. But outside this virtual machine or outside this VNet, I will not be able to access this web app. So this connectivity will not allow. And what is the reason for that? The reason being this, we are actually provisioning a private link here and an endpoint. And this endpoint will help us in connecting with this private link, or establishing a highly secured connection with this private link, and finally connecting with the web app. So what is the trick here? So I'll also show you what is happening under the actually when we are enabling the private link, what exactly it is happening. So when we enable this, a NIC or a network interface card gets attached, okay, or a network interface card gets provisioned that routes your traffic, or that points to your web app. Okay, so like a clear we have a route, a very well-defined route defined, so that all the traffic has to first hit this network interface card, okay, this NIC that will get provisioned, and from there the traffic will get routed to this web app. So I'll show you that in detail. So once I provision a web app and a private link endpoint, I will show you exactly how this traffic is flowing and what is happening. But in a nutshell, this is what it is and how the private link works for a web app, or securing any kind of resources. It is not just a web app. You can have a key vault there, because key vault also has sensitive information, right? So it should also be not accessible publicly. You can have a blob storage or storage account, or a file, any components of a storage account. So even data lake. So all these public resources you can get into a VNet using this private link. So now let's get into a demo, and I will show you how to get it done. Okay. So let me do a refresh. What I've done is, so let me just go back to the deck, this thing. So we are going to see this exact scenario what I have here in the deck. So what I have already done is I have provisioned a VNet. Okay, this virtual network I have already provisioned. Inside the virtual network, I have already created a virtual machine that will be in the stop state. I'll start it now. And what I've done is I need to access this virtual machine. Okay, I have normally in most of the organizations I have seen. So whenever I went for solutioning to any of the organizations, what I've seen is, so by default we can't access this virtual machine directly. So why? Because the RDP port is blocked. So here also I've tried to like replicate the same kind of a secured environment where we don't have an RDP port opened, so that I won't be able to do an MSTSC. Rather, I will access it through a BASION. So I'm not getting into details of the BASION here, but what I've done is, when I've created this VNet, I have created a BASION for this VNet, and using that BASION, I'll be able to connect to this VNet, this virtual machine, and then from this virtual machine, I will be able to access my web app. Okay, so now let's see that. So let's first see. Let me first show you like the virtual network I have created and the virtual machine I have created. Then we will, and also the BASION, and then I will move to the next things. Okay, so this is my Azure portal. This is the IP of my BASION. I have already told you this is my BASION I have created. So in a while I'll come to this, why we need a private DNS zone. I'll come to a while. So I have created this virtual machine. Okay, so if you get into this virtual machine, like it's currently in the stop state, and the RDP port is disabled for this. Okay, so like but we'll be able to connect it using a BASION. So let me start it. It will take a while to start, and meanwhile I can show you the VNet. This is a virtual network I have, and inside the virtual nation I have my BASION. Okay, and also my VM. Okay, both the VM and the BASION are in this, so they're sitting in two different subnets. Okay, my VM is started. I'll come to the VM in a while. So if I again come back to my deck, I have this ready. This piece is ready. What I need to do is I need to provision this, and I need to enable the private link. So let me provision a web app. Okay, it's the easiest thing to do. So I can go here, like I can just here. Let me click on web app. So let me give a nice name. My web app 28. Let's see. Yes, it's there available. Let me select .NET 5 as a runtime stack. Let me create it in EastUS. Okay. Then one thing to note, like this Azure private link is not supported on the standard SKUs. You need to select production SKUs for this. Okay, maybe I can go for this. This is the cheapest premium SKU that, or the production SKU that is available. Let me select this. So don't go for the standard tiers. It's not available as your private link. Anyways, like whenever you are using some premium things, so you'll be billed premium, right? So that is why, that is the reason like why it's like that. Okay, now let me just do a quick check if I have given everything correctly. Yes, we are good. Now let me do a review plus create. Okay, let me do a create. I should have disabled this monitoring thing. It will create apps insights, but that's fine. Anyways, it's not hindering our demo. It will take a minute or so to get created. Let's wait for a while. By the time the web app is getting created, do we have any questions, Simon, from the audience till now?
Yes, Abhishek, this one is asking, is dedicated subnet required for private link service?
No, the answer is no. It's not needed. Both are two different things. So dedicated subnet is a different concept where we can actually control the outbound traffic. Here in the private link, what we are doing is we are controlling the incoming flow of the traffic. So whatever traffic that is flowing into the Azure web app. So I'm saying the https://webapp.com. So what will happen is my traffic will flow from my laptop to the web app, correct? So that flow will go through my private network. But again, whenever the web app will respond back, okay, with a request, or web app might also connect with say like some other services. So we also need to define some kind of rules there, right? Security, outbound network security group rules. So we can do it only when like we are having a delegated subnet there, we are delegating our subnet, and we are like creating our web app inside that delegated subnet. Okay. And we are defining some network security group on the outbound traffic. Okay, then only like you will be able to control the outbound traffic. So if you ask me personally, what I can see is you can have both. For though like it's not necessary that if you're having a private link you have to have a delegated subnet, or the other way around, if you're having a delegated subnet you need to have a private link. Okay, but for a good security practice, have both. So incoming will flow through the VNet, and the incoming, yes, they will flow through the VNet using your private link, and all the outgoing traffic from your web app will flow through the delegated subnet. Okay.
Right. So you like to take one? Okay, your development is complete. We'll take question later on.
Yep. So I am here, like my web app is created. Now from my laptop, I will be able to access it because I have not yet enabled any private link out here. Let me see if I am able to access this. Cool. I am able to access the default page of Azure Web App. Okay, I'm able to access it because it's in public. It's a public resource. And from my home in Mumbai, I'm accessing it. I'm not connected to any kind of VNets or private network. But now let me enable private link here. Okay. For that, you need to go into the networking section. Okay. So this is the thing, like configure your private endpoints, do a add. Let's give a nice name for our PLE or private link endpoint. Web app, maybe web app private link endpoint. Let us make it a bit more personal by calling it as my web app private link endpoint. I need to select the VNet inside which our PLE will be created. Let's call it as like this is the VNet demo, is the virtual network that I've created. I mean to say, like if you go back here, this box, this virtual network I've created, and I've called it as this name, like VNet demo. Okay, so also the subnet I need to create. I've also created a subnet demo. So I'll take this subnet. Then let me do an OK. So it will take some. It will happen quick actually. Like by then we had another question, right? I can actually answer that question while this is getting provisioned.
Sure. There's one question from Case Ready. He's asking, can we configure DNS server for VNet?
Yes, you can. You can definitely configure it. Like you can have a like Azure provides its own Azure private DNS. You can do that.
Okay. There's one other one. Arjun Lal is asking, can I create a private link with basic load balancer?
Yes, you can. You can create, and there is a very nice recommendation on that on Microsoft Learn, or I think it's in the Microsoft documentation itself. You should actually try this. Okay. So it takes a while to get created. So see, this is for whatever I'm demoing you, it's for the public resource, right? But this private link can be extended a lot, and maybe if you go through the documentation of private link in in the Microsoft sites, you'll find a lot of things out there, pretty much exciting things. Okay, my private link endpoint has been created. Now let me see if I can access that. Now, see, now I am not able to access it because I'm outside that VNet where that PLE, that private link is connected or created, and my traffic is now flowing through the private link endpoint to the web app. Okay, so it's forbidden. It's not allowing me. So how can I can access it? Let me show it to you now. What I will do is I will get into this VM that I created. Okay, I told you I've already blocked the RDP port. I won't be able to do a RDP. I'll do a Bastion. Okay, so I'll say use Bastion. will ask for my credentials. Let me give it. The VM credentials I need to give here. Connect. Might, okay, pop-up blocker, no issues. We'll get this sorted. Do a connect, it should work. Okay. Meanwhile, my web app 28. Okay. Now I am inside my virtual machine. Let me try to access it. Okay. Okay. So let me open the Internet Explorer out here. So is that the name I gave? My web app 28. Let me maximize this. My web app 28. I think I can remove this 10. I'd created the other web app while I was testing for this session. So let me do an OK. Add, close. See, I was able to access it inside the virtual machine, but I can't access it outside. Okay. So like my public web app will not be able to get accessed from here. Rather, I'll be only be able to access it from the VM that is integrated with the virtual net, like the VNet that I've created. Now, let me show you something now. Okay. So what happened when I created this PLE? So let me go back to my resource group. So if you see here, like this is the private link endpoint that got created. Let me get into this. Okay. Let me get into the DNS configuration. So see the DNS configuration. What has happened is we have created a, okay, let me also, I'll show it to you. Okay. When I'll step out of this service, I'll explain this to you. I'll show this NIC also to you. So see, you can see a NIC out here, right? Network interface card. Okay. And that has got associated with my web app. How? This is the NIC IP 10205, and it has taken an IP address from the subnet of my virtual network. And I am defining a DNS record accordingly. So how my DNS looks like? This NIC. This NIC has taken this IP address from the VNet that I have created, inside which I've created the private link endpoint. And this IP address is pointing to my web app. Okay. So whenever I'm trying to hit, okay, this guy, this my web app 28 azurewebsites.net, it will always resolve this IP address. It will never resolve the public IP address of that. Maybe I can show it to you. Let me get into this VM and let me try to do a ping and show it to you how the network resolution looks like here. Maybe I'll just minimize this. Then CMD. My bad, I closed it, but let me see if I can ping it from here. Okay, no issues. Let me also get into it again. I'll just show you, or else from here also I can show it to you, basically. I can do a ping and I can show it to you. Maybe NS lookup. TCP ping is not available here. So let me do a ping my web app 28 Azure sites.net. Okay. Okay. So here actually it is timing out, but maybe if I'll get into the portal, I'll be able to see it. Maybe I'll open this VM again. I should not have closed that VM. Okay, we are in. So let me search for this command cmd. It comes here. I can do a ns lookup. Then you can ns lookup my web app 28 dot azure websites.net. See what is IP it resolved to? 10205. And what is this IP address basically? This 10205 is the IP address of my NIC, right? So let me just show it to you. Let's just reconfirm that. So if I go to my private link endpoint and this DNS configuration, see 10205. This is the same IP address, right? It got resolved to. And anyone can tell can ping in the chat why we could not connect from the local out here from the laptop. I think it's a very easy answer for that. So it's still trying to connect, but it's cannot. Okay, let me tell it to you. It's because it's in the VNet. The answer is because of that. So that is why it's not able to connect it. But you can see that we could connect it inside here actually. Okay. So that is what the demo I had for you, to show you how we can secure public resource in Azure using private link.